Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel for some more Star Wars Battlefront II news. Today we have a lot of ground to cover, including a bit of really interesting information that was found in the files of the game, and a few updates regarding a few nerfs, some hero balancing, and what we can look forward to over the course of the next few weeks. Before we get into that, I just wanted to say that we are now less than 400 subscribers away from 100,000. That big number is just getting closer and closer, which is absolutely crazy, and I cannot wait to reach that huge milestone, so thank you all so much for the continued support. But with all of that being said, let's get into this. So let's start off with the most exciting news, at least in my opinion, and that is that we have confirmation that the officer's flash grenade will finally be getting a nerf. Ben said the flash grenade will be getting some changes, and obviously they won't be buffing the flash grenade, so I cannot wait for this thing to stop being the single most annoying piece of equipment in gaming history. I have been saying it forever, and I know that I'm not alone on this, but just swap the officer's flash grenade and Leia's. It would make so much sense, and it would make Leia so much more effective in HVV. I do already like using her, but she just can't compare to the other light side blaster heroes. Han, Lando, and Chewie are all so much stronger. If they decide to not swap them out and just nerf the current flash grenade, in my opinion, they need to reduce the length pretty considerably and also take away the movement penalty altogether, as there is no reason a single grenade should be able to damage, blind, and stop your movement all in one. It is so ridiculous compared to the other grenades, and the officer is already the strongest class by far for racking up battle points, so I cannot wait until the day we finally see justice served to the flashbang. Speaking of things that people like to complain about, let's talk about the balance of heroes versus villains. The main thing people tend to complain about are the constant stuns, and with good reason. It isn't much of an issue in Galactic Assault, as facing a hero by yourself is far less commonplace, but in HVV it can be very annoying having to deal with the stun abilities pretty much 24/7, especially stuns that cannot be blocked like Chewie's shock grenade or Lando's disabler. Over on Twitter today, Ben did confirm that they are looking at making some changes to stuns, although he didn't specify who or what they are planning on changing. Personally, I don't really know how they could completely fix this issue, as in my opinion it really isn't a huge problem, but to get rid of all of the stuns they would have to do so many hero reworks. They would have to get rid of so many abilities. I mean, Chewie, Iden, Lando, Phasma, Palpatine, and Kylo Ren all have some sort of stun-like ability, and to be honest, I think most of them are just fine. Phasma's turret is easily avoidable if you have more than a few brain cells firing. Palpatine's electrocute is very short and not really a problem at all, and when it comes to Chewie, his stun really isn't the main problem. It's the absurd amount of damage his Furious Bowcaster can deal, although I could see them reducing the length of time it shocks you just a bit. I think they could make some changes to Iden, Kylo Ren, and Lando's stun. Lando's quick shock star card is a little OP in my opinion, maybe tone down the length of his stun just a little bit, and the same could be said about Iden's regular stun. It is a bit much when you can kill a full health hero in a single stun. It makes things a lot less competitive and just really annoying. For Kylo, I do love that his stun breaks the second he deals any damage to a hero. It makes him very balanced in that way, but I don't think it should leave you stunned for like 15 seconds if he doesn't damage you. It's really annoying and doesn't take any skill on the part of the Kylo player, as all he has to do is just stun you and run away and leave you for dead, and I think it should be toned down just a bit. Apart from that, I think we're just gonna have to deal with stuns. I know they are making some changes like I said, but I don't see them removing them completely like some people have suggested. It would be pretty cool if they remove them, but that just is not likely to happen. It's about as likely as Jar Jar Binks being announced as the next DLC hero to Battlefront II. Ben also confirmed that they are taking a look at the target system in heroes versus villains, and honestly, if they actually remove the target system or give us an alternative mode, that would be the single best change they could possibly make to Battlefront. HVV is a fun mode if you're playing with semi-competent players, but unfortunately that very rarely happens. Maybe once in every 5 games do I actually play with gamers I believe have opposable thumbs, and to this day I am just baffled at how terrible some people are in that game mode. I totally understand if you're a brand new player, but at the same time I'll see level 40 players just making the worst possible decisions time and time again, and with the target system it makes it very frustrating when you can't do anything about teammates just constantly losing you points over and over again. Personally, I think the best thing they could do is just release a new version of HVV that functions similarly to the one we had had in Battlefront 2015, and then they can just keep the current HVV as its own game mode. They can call the new mode something different, maybe hero battles or something similar, but give us the round-based system with a mix of infantry and trooper play. I would absolutely love to see that, as personally, I find it really annoying that the only mode you can play against regular enemies as a hero is Galactic Assault. Sometimes you just want to slay down regular troopers as a hero, and if you want to do that, you've got to jump into Galactic Assault, get all the battle points to get a hero, and it's just a whole long process. In Battlefront 2015, you could play as heroes in Extraction and a bunch of other modes, so I would love to see more options for hero play. Moving on, we have a couple of small updates from the hero designer regarding Grievous, as he is still a very, very buggy hero. It looks like Unrelenting Advance will be getting a damage buff and nothing more, at least for right now. Guillaume said he'll be looking at just upping the damage, as it's a very easy change, and perhaps we'll look at other ways to buff the ability later. I just want to say they either have to make it a one-hit kill to troopers and make it a lot more reliable at blocking blaster fire, or it still will not be worth using at all. Personally, I think it should one-shot even heavies, as the way it works right now makes you so unbelievably slow that the only way you'd get hit by him by using it is if you just weren't paying attention at all, so just buff the damage up to 200 and make the ability somewhat viable. I think Unrelenting Advance was always going to be a bit of an impractical ability, as the concept alone makes it something that's really easy to avoid, but a much higher damage output and the actual ability to block all damage would make it at least somewhat useful, as opposed to the death wish it is currently. He also did confirm that they are looking at the Sith Trained Star card, which, if you didn't know, is the star card that boosts the damage of Grievous's lightsaber while reducing his stamina. From what I can tell, it's not bugged per se, but the amount of damage the card says it increases his attack by is just completely wrong. Once you get it to purple, it actually deals enough damage to always one-hit kill, despite the numbers on the card saying it should do that by green. I'm not sure if they'll actually increase his damage to match up with the star card stats, or they will just change the numbers on the card itself. Honestly, they should probably just fix the numbers, as giving him even more saber damage is not what he needs right now. I'm telling you guys, if they actually manage to fix all of Grievous's bugs and buff his Thrust Surge and Unrelenting Advance, Grievous will be the strongest hero in the game, and I'm already waiting on the people saying he's OP once he has working abilities. The fact that he is still pretty usable with 2 broken abilities and a third ability that is very, very buggy is pretty impressive, and once they fix him, he will be downright unstoppable. Ben also said just this morning that they have a bunch of other fixes planned for Grievous in the next update. I am happy that they are fixing him, but you have to wonder, why was he released like this in the first place? I mean, there's a huge difference between bugs that slip through the cracks of playtesting and ones that there is just no way on earth they didn't know about. I mean, Thrust Surge and Unrelenting Advance don't even work properly in arcade, so I honestly just can't begin to understand why they thought it was okay to release him the way he was, especially when you consider he's been in development all the way back to the launch of the game. Wrap your minds around that, people. It seems to me that it would have been way more effective to just have him working properly before launch, instead of being forced to scramble to fix him the month after he releases, and now they can't put as much time into Obi-Wan or Geonosis. Either way, it is good he will be fixed soon, although I'm fully aware that means I'm going to have to make a completely separate hero guide for him, because my current one is pretty much entirely focused on avoiding his bugs if you don't want to die instantaneously. Next up, if you guys haven't noticed that the hero banter is completely broken, you are not alone, and it's actually been broken for a very long time, and it's a pretty big problem as you don't get any cool quotes anymore. The heroes used to comment real time on who was nearby in HVV and in Galactic Assault if there were heroes nearby, but now they just say nothing at all, and I want to say this has been broken since like July, and for some reason no one ever talks about it. Well, Ben did confirm they are aware of the issue now, and it will be getting fixed soon, so if it bothers you as much as it does me, it looks like we'll be getting a fix for this pretty quickly. Also, if you guys were hoping the vehicles from Geonosis could possibly make an appearance on other prequel era maps, you may be in luck, as a fan asked Ben if they had considered adding the Bark Speeder and STAP to Kashyyyk, and Ben replied saying they will see how it goes, but it's definitely a possibility. Personally, I would love to see that. I don't see any reason why the STAP couldn't be on Naboo as well, although the Separatists definitely do have the upper hand already in terms of vehicles during the first phase, but the STAP is definitely not going to be a super powerful vehicle, so I doubt it would be a real balance issue. Moving on, Ben was doing some discussion over on the Battlefront subreddit, and some fans were asking about the future of Battlefront after Anakin and Dooku released in 2019. For the most part, no one at DICE has even addressed anything after those two heroes, but Ben actually replied, and without giving any specifics, said there is definitely a future after Anakin and Dooku, and while he can't say anything right now, there will be details arriving soon. It's pretty hard not to get optimistic about comments like that, especially after all the Padme and Ahsoka dialogue was found in the files a couple of weeks ago, and then more recently some references references to Coruscant were found in the files as well. The files refer to a Coruscant speeder, and not only that, there is also some audio files present for the speeder as well. Nothing crazy, just audio you'd expect from a speeder, but it really makes you wonder what they have planned. I know that on Tatooine, Padme's ship is just chilling there in the background, but it doesn't have any audio or anything as it's just a stationary object in the background of the map. I'm definitely not saying Coruscant is confirmed or anything, but if Padme is indeed the next hero they have planned, or among the next heroes they have planned, Coruscant would be absolutely the most likely planet to accompany her. Guys, that is going to do it for today's video. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and if you did enjoy this video, please be sure to drop it a like, and if you are new around here, absolutely feel free to subscribe to the channel. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.